Hippopotamuses are usually very conspicuous, but not so Veronica. Veronica lived in the cool, muddy riverbank with her mother hippopotamus, her father hippopotamus, her brother and sister hippopotamus, her aunt and uncle hippopotamuses, all her cousin hippopotamuses, second, third, fourth, and fifth. In fact, there were so many hippopotamuses in the muddy riverbank that it seemed to Veronica that no one ever noticed her. "Oh," she said, "I want to be noticed. I want to be remarkable. In fact, I would very much like to be famous." So, one day Veronica decided to leave the muddy riverbank and she just started to walk. And as she was walking for days and days, she discovered some new and interesting things to eat. She ate grass, some tomatoes, a few nuts, a bunch of berries, a couple cucumbers, and occasionally the leaves from low-hanging trees. And as she walked, she thought to herself, "I'm going to find a place where I can be noticed. I'm going to find a place where I am told that I'm remarkable. In fact, maybe I will become famous." One day, from the top of the hill, Veronica saw a pink and white city. She decided to go to that city and see what it was like. And as she walked into the town, she became more and more excited. She became more and more happy. She was the only hippopotamus in sight, and Veronica was gloriously conspicuous. It didn't matter to her that people yelled at her, even when she stepped on their toes. It didn't matter to Veronica that people elbowed her in the ribs when she tried to walk by. She didn't even care that she caused a huge traffic jam when she walked down the middle of the street. "Excuse me," yelled the policeman. "This is a one-way street, and you are going the wrong way." Well, Veronica was more than happy to oblige. She turned around and began walking the same direction that all the cars were going. Soon, after all this walking and excitement, Veronica began to get sleepy. And when Veronica gets sleepy, she gets hungry. And right in front of her was the most wonderful sight she had ever seen. It was a vegetable cart. It was full of fresh vegetables. It had radishes, green beans, peas, broccoli, celery, and even Veronica's favorite, mushrooms. "Oh!" said Veronica, and she walked up to the vegetable cart and, not being trained in city manners, opened her mouth as wide as she could, and with one big gulp, she swallowed the entire contents of the cart, including the paper bags. "Thief! Thief! Thief! What's going on?" cried the policeman. "She stole the entire contents of my vegetable cart, including the paper bags." "What?" said the policeman. "Look at the size of her mouth." The policeman looked at Veronica and saw on the side of her jaw the telltale evidence, a piece of lettuce sticking out from her front teeth. He took out his pad and paper and started to write. He said, "You step on people's toes. You walk the wrong way down a one-way street. And now you steal." Well, the policeman's voice frightened Veronica, and she began to run as fast as her little hippopotamus legs could carry her. "Oh, I must find somewhere to hide. Then I'll sneak away when it's No one will see me. While she was thinking that she wished she was not so conspicuous, she saw the perfect hiding place. A park bench. She scurried behind the bushes, knelt behind the bench, and thought, "Here I'll be safe." But her hippopotamus bottom stuck out on one edge, and her huge hippopotamus mouth stuck out on the other. And it wasn't long before she found herself with a rope around her neck, being dragged through town off to the city jail. While the policeman stood scratching his head, trying to figure out a way to get Vernoika through the narrow door of the jailhouse, a little voice piped up from the back of the crowd that had now gathered. "I beg your pardon, but what do you think you're doing with that poor little old hippopotamus?" The voice belonged to a sweet girl with a large black patent leather bag. "Why, ma'am," said the policeman, "this hippopotamus is a criminal." "Yes, sir, it stole out the vegetable carts from my cart, even the paper bags." The little girl pulled a large roll of bills from her purse and peeled off 3. "Will this cover your expenses?" she said. "Why, yes, ma'am, thank you very much." "If there are no more charges, then let this dear hippopotamus go free." A moving van was ordered. It seems that this person knew about hippopotamuses. Somehow she knew that Vernoika was homesick, that Vernoika had become tired of being so different, grown weary of being so conspicuous in the big pink and white city. In fact, you might say the little girl had ESHI. Wait a minute, what is ESHI?
Extrasensory hippopotamus intuition.
The moving van arrived, and Vernoika walked up the plank, and everyone waved goodbye. This was the first time they had ever seen a hippopotamus. And that is how Vernoika found her way back to the cool, muddy riverbank. But things were different now, because Vernoika was famous. Well, among hippopotamuses, that is. Every night at sundown, all the hippopotamuses would gather around Vernoika to hear about her amazing adventure to the pink and white city. And Vernoika was very happy.